In many cultures, throughout time, for thousands of years, people have tapped into the power and energy of the moon by calling upon lunar deities or gods and goddesses associated with the moon. In the legends of the Inuit peoples, Laconic is the god of both the moon and weather. He controls the tides and presides over both earthquakes and eclipses. In some stories, he is also responsible for returning the souls of the dead to earth so that they may be reborn. Laconic may appear in harbors to protect fishermen from Xena, the wrathful sea goddess. Artemis is the Greek goddess of the hunt. Because her twin brother Apollo was associated with the sun, Artemis became connected to the moon in the post-classical world. During the ancient Greek period, although Artemis was represented as a lunar goddess, she was never portrayed as the moon itself. In post-classical artwork, she is depicted beside a crescent moon. She is associated with the Roman goddess Diana as well. Cerridwen is in Celtic mythology the keeper of the cauldron of knowledge. She is the giver of wisdom and inspiration and is associated with the moon and the intuitive process. As a goddess of the underworld, Cerridwen is often symbolized by a white sow, which represents both her fecundity and fertility and her strength as a mother. She is both mother and crone. Many modern witches honor Cerridwen for her close association to the full moon. In Chinese mythology, Cheng was married to the king Hu Yi. Although he was once known as a great archer, later Hu Yi became a tyrannical king who spread death and destruction wherever he went. The people starved and were brutally treated. Hu Yi greatly feared death, so a healer gave him a special elixir that would allow him to live forever. Cheng knew that for Hu Yi, to live forever would be a terrible thing. So one night while he slept, Cheng stole the potion. When he saw her and demanded she return the potion, she immediately drank the elixir and flew up into the sky as the moon, where she remains to this day. In some Chinese stories, this is a perfect example of someone making a sacrifice to save others. Much like the Greek goddess Artemis, Diana began as a goddess of the hunt, who later evolved into a lunar goddess. As daughter of Jupiter, Diana's twin brother was Apollo. Many witches honor Diana in her role as the embodiment of the sacred feminine. She is associated with the powers of the moon, and in some classical artwork is portrayed wearing a crown that features a crescent moon. Hecate was originally venerated as a mother goddess, but later was elevated to her position as goddess of ghosts and the spirit world. Many witches honor Hecate in her guise as a dark goddess, although it would be incorrect to refer to her as an aspect of the crone because of her connection to both childbirth and maidenhood. Her role as dark goddess comes from her connection to the spirit world, ghosts, the dark moon, and magic. Hecate was the only child of Asteria, a star goddess who was the aunt of Apollo and Artemis. The event of Hecate's birth was tied to the reappearance of Phoebe, a lunar goddess who appeared during the darkest phase of the moon. Selena was the sister of Helios, the Greek sun god. Tribute was paid to her on the days of the full moon. Like many Greek goddesses, she had a number of different aspects. At one point, she was worshipped as Phoebe, the huntress, and later was identified with Artemis. Her lover was a young shepherd prince named Endymion, who was granted immortality by Zeus. He was also granted eternal slumber, so that all immortality and eternal youth was wasted on Endymion. The shepherd was doomed to sleeping in a cave forever, so Selena descended from the sky every night to sleep beside him. Unlike most other lunar goddesses of Greece, Selena is the only one who is actually portrayed as the moon incarnate by the early classical poets. Xena is one of the best-known Polynesian deities. She resides within the moon itself and is the protector of those who might travel at night. She lived on Earth but got tired of the way her husband and family treated her, so she packed her belongings and left to go live in the moon, according to Hawaiian legend. In Tahiti, the story is that Xena got curious about what it was like on the moon and paddled her magical canoe until she got there. Once she arrived, she was struck by the moon's tranquil beauty and decided to stay. Toth was an Egyptian god of magic and wisdom, and appears in a few legends as the god who weighs the souls of the dead, although many other stories assign that job to Anubis. Because Toth is a lunar deity, he is often portrayed wearing a crescent on his head. He is closely associated with Seshat, a goddess of writing and wisdom, who is known as the scribe of the divine. Toth is sometimes called upon for workings related to wisdom, magic, and fate. He may also be invoked if you're working on anything to do with writing or communication, such as writing a book of shadows or writing a spell, speaking words of healing or meditation, or mediating a dispute. You may call upon any of these deities for assistance if you're doing a moon-related ritual. Thank you for watching my video. Please rate, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful evening. Blessed be.